countdown's not playing. Again, the countdown's not playing. I love it. Well, folks, welcome to another episode of Unstoppable Overcomers. Tonight's featured sponsor of the show, and I'm not sure why it's not coming up. There we go. Camaraderie Rescue Mission, the coffee house, is our proud sponsor for tonight. So in order to get your coffee, go to www.unstoppableovercomers.com and click on the banner here that you will see. And order your coffee today to support the amazing people at Camaraderie Rescue Mission's Coffee Exchange. With that, I'm going to bring on the amazing Chad Kennedy.
Hey.
Chad, my brother from another mother, how are you?
Good, my sister. How are you?
Great. Look at you blush. Like, oh my gosh. We were just talking in the green room.
Yeah.
And I said, I feel like I have all these big brothers around me, and which is funny because I'm the oldest and I only have a younger brother. So it's really good to have Chad in the house. So Chad, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Okay, a bit about myself. Now, it hasn't been public knowledge, just something I'm actually now proud to say, and it's been 31 years in the making. I am a proud Canadian veteran, and thank you. Stuff that
and you
happened
heard
to
it
me
first here on the show.
Yeah, it's just come to light, but it's something that I've been working on with therapy, and finally talking about something that happened to me like 30 years ago. So yeah, now I'm proud to say I'm a Canadian veteran. I am, for the last 16 years, I've been in law enforcement in one way, shape, or form. For the last 14 years, I've been with the Alberta Sheriff Highway Patrol, obviously here in Alberta. Accumulated trauma throughout my whole career. Obviously seen a lot of bad stuff. July 18th of 2020, I attended a serious bus crash in the Canadian Rockies in Jasper National Park. And that's kind of what brought us here today. As horrible as that event was, so much good has come of it. I announced like 2 weeks after that trauma that I was going to walk across the country to raise awareness for post-traumatic stress amongst emergency services in our military communities. And it just sort of blossomed. But announcing that walk from the time I announced it up until February of last year, like mentally, I was beat up. And it took me a long time to give myself a kick in the ass and say, man, need to ask for some help again, which would go on to be my third time asking for help with post-traumatic stress. And I did, and I'm happy to say I was accepted into an amazing program out here in Calgary with the Newly Institute, and they're actually opening one up in Fredericton for the eastern side of Canada. So they had 8 weeks to work with me before the walk commences, which is this weekend. Not going to lie. It yes, but also scary. It's like 20 months of planning, and here we are. It's like a few sleeps away, and I after going through therapy and completing a grueling treatment program, I'm now actually super stoked for the walk. I'm allowed to be excited. But it's been a long journey, and a lot of every day questioning myself, like, what the hell did I get myself into? I said I'm going to walk the country, and now it's here. There's no backing out. We've got everything in place. So yeah, there's just a bit about me. I mean, there's so much more to the story, right. But that's like the Cole's Notes version.
All right. So when you said you were in therapy, is that like mental or like psychologically therapy or
Yeah.
like therapy for you to get your body prepped to walk that distance?
Well, yeah. So,
or both?
yeah. So this therapy was psychological therapy. I had an amazing team of psychologists, a kinesiologist, and a occupational therapist. So there were some group sessions, in vivo stuff, and bringing us back to the mindfulness and the now. A little bit of yoga. I'm proud to say I own a yoga mat, and I never thought I would say that. I never thought I would experience yoga, but it was trauma sensitive yoga. Uh, man, the stretch is amazing. So that will be incorporated into my stretching routine before and after each day that I walk. But the physical part of it, I started training August 9th of 2020. Is laying on the couch, feeling bad for myself, beating up on myself for what I had experienced at the ice fields. I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to walk the country. And when I made that decision, Dorothy, it was during my darkest hour. Sitting in the backyard, fire going, bottle of Captain Morgan, and trying. I I didn't understand. I don't understand my purpose. I don't know what defines me. And I was so broken, and you assume that the whole world is turning their back on you because they don't understand what you're going through emotionally.
Mhm.
So I'm like, it was off the cuff. I'm going to do this. And then laying on the couch a while later, like I say, feeling sorry for myself and feeling useless.
Mhm.
I said, man, I've got to go to the store. I've got to get myself some running shoes and just start walking. So August 9th, 2020, I started training. Last September, we did a practice walk across Alberta just to see how the team would jive and what kind of footwear I should be wearing. Let me tell you, 5 different
Several
pairs of
different
shoes.
types.
Yeah, several
Yeah.
different types, and each one of them, my feet were not happy with me at all. So you learn from that 2 weeks on the road. Geez, I better go get fitted properly for footwear. So that I did and continued on my training. So yeah, like the big challenge was all this emotional healing that I've done over the last, when things kicked in for me last March, with a psychologist and an occupational therapist. So I had great sessions once a week. And then when they had worked with our compensation board here in Alberta to get me into a program, top notch organization, the newly, who is brand new, but you're working with psychologists and people who work for the OSI clinic here in Calgary. So they specialize with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and our veterans. And now they've got this great program designed for first responders. So I as hellish as it was, like I'm talking there, my hell week, which was week 6, I had nine appointments in 4 days, and then a Friday off, and then we had to do exposure therapy up in Jasper at the ice fields. I thought, man, that's a place I never want to go back to. Never want to see it. There's no reason to. And we went up there and we nailed it. It was so a lot of grueling psychological stuff, and you know what, it paid off. And here we are. And they got me ready mentally for the walk. And I know there's going to be more emotional and mental challenges,
Right.
as well as the physical. But
Right.
the true challenge is the psychological test of doing this little jaunt across Canada.
I'm just going to go to the comments. I just want to say welcome to Melody. She's from Massachusetts. Sharon must be your friend out from Calgary.
You know what, Sharon? Actually, she's every morning. Hey, Sharon, I get I get a message from her, and the good evening messages. Good peeps, yeah. She keeps in touch.
And our friend Russ from, I think, oh, where is he from? Oregon. Oregon's joining us.
Cool.
And before I read this next one, I was going to say, I need to introduce you to our mutual friend, Carrie. Carrie is also a veteran, but he is
Cool.
now a so he teaches yoga and certain things to veterans at Warriors Ascent, which is her next thing here. Amazing guy. I can definitely hook you two up. He'll be on the show too in a couple weeks, but
Cool.
a retired veteran who, with the pain of what he went through, I think he was in the Gulf War, if I'm not mistaken, with the pain of that and just the trauma that he suffered, it was definitely healing for him to go through yoga. So I can definitely connect you two. And
Beautiful.
welcome to Tim from Shanola, Pennsylvania. So I definitely, I don't know what you're going through, but I know when I trained for my half marathon, I know that I needed like different pairs of shoes and getting out there. And you're right. That training alone they tell me running is 90% mental. And I didn't understand what they thought or what they were telling me until I was out there. And it just so happens I had gotten into a little bit of a kerfuffle with a loved one before the event, and I was in my head and I was having anxiety attacks and I was like hyperventilating, and I had an inhaler. I have asthma, but it very rarely comes out, but I had it just in case, and I was like hyperventilating so bad. The lady beside me says, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I don't know, get me a damn doctor." But I eventually calmed down and ended up finishing the race in 3 hours and 3 minutes. But
That's awesome.
oh, thanks. And it's so I know a little bit. I'm not going to say I know a lot because I mean, walking across Canada, especially with the experiences that you've had, from the past trauma, from the things that you've seen and things like that. So over the years in your career, I'm sure there had to be some good things though that come out of being a police officer or a sheriff or
Yeah, you know what? It's one of those things when you're dealing with, and I can only speak for myself. I've spoken to so many people with post-traumatic stress. The hardest thing is digging up those positive memories, because it is that negative demon within our head that's all he's beaten into us, is the negative and the brutal and all the horrible stuff. You know what? I won't find out until after the walk if I'm going to go back to my role with the Highway Patrol. My guess is it's not going to happen. But I look back at my career, and there were so many amazing times.
Mhm.
The people that you meet, 99.9% of the people you meet, even though you're giving them a ticket or you're doing your job, and nobody likes that, but 99.9% of the people you deal with are just amazing people. I just I've been blessed with not having any real bad interactions with anybody doing my job. And yeah, I embrace the positives, but it took me a long time, Dorothy, to realize, holy shit, I had a lot of great times in my career. And for the last, I don't know how many years I've been struggling with this beast inside my head. It wasn't until 2018 that I asked for help the first time. So it's been a long journey of just pure negative, and embracing everything that's been bad and negative. And I can bitch about it, complain about it. There was no embracing the happy. So yeah, so I go back to, I look back today and say, man, I got to help a lot of people.
And that's the most part. Focus on
Yeah,
that because that's good. That's
that's
one
right.
of the positives, right?
It's
So
huge. So you think once these negative thoughts start pumping into my head, with a lot of work, it's like, well, for every negative thing that enters my noodle, I'm going to replace it with 3 positives. So now I'm smiling. It's a legitimate smile. I'm not painting on this mask anymore. And it's important for me to have a smile first before I deliver a smile to somebody else. Right. And when I was going through my negative battle, my way to cope with the negative was to make other people smile so I would feel better. But now I feel better and I just want to share a smile with somebody. It's kind of weird how the brain works.
Right, my friend? I have to ask you, because I've heard from other veterans that when they went to go ask for help, they were told, oh, make an appointment. When you actually initially reached out for help, did you immediately get a response to say, hey, yeah, come see me right now? Or was that something that was a process to get into?
Yeah, the first time was, it was hell. I went to my doctor, explained to him what was going on. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, my dad was a proud member. I'm still proud about his past career with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And back in early 2000s, he got kissed with post-traumatic stress and had one hell of a journey. And thankfully, a few years back, he got the right help, and he's still here to talk about stuff, and he's on the right side of the grass. So I kind of figured, well, I knew something was really wrong, but it was, you don't really anticipate somebody's going to say, you're showing post-traumatic stress-like symptoms. You think maybe it's just anxiety, or I've got anger management issues. There should be no reason in the world why I just look at people and I just want to throat punch them. Mm-hmm. Come on, let's smile. I'm just going to throw you a throat punch. But the rage was so real, like everything set me off. And so I went to my family doctor, explained to him what was going on. And he said, man, you've got post-traumatic stress-like symptoms. And he actually referred me to Alberta Mental Health. And it was relatively quick. I got a phone call from a psych nurse who did a telephone, I think it was 45-minute assessment. And then she got me into an emergency style psychiatrist at one of our big hospitals here in Calgary, which still took 2 weeks to get in. Mm-hmm. But I went and talked to this person. It's that I don't know if there's a classic case of post-traumatic stress, but it was post-traumatic stress. We're going to refer you to a psychologist. So I was excited. Now I get to talk to somebody that's going to get me and work with me on stuff. And I met this psychologist, and nothing we talked about. I really don't remember if it was 4 or 5 sessions, but nothing was about my traumas that I faced at work. It was like 50 minutes at $220 an hour. And no tools. There's no breathing exercises. There's no apps for me to download on my phone, nothing. So like most of us, you feel defeat. Say, well, shit balls. This is why nobody asks for help, because the help sucks. And it discouraged me. I was prescribed medication, which I'm still on today, which A, allows me to sleep without nightmares, and B, the daytime medication sort of allows my fight or flight, or the fight, flight, freeze response that we have, keeps things in check, and I can process things before I react. But man, I'm like, where's this help? And then we flip it around to last February when I went to my doctor. So, man, this is everything that's going on in my life. And right away, I'm taking you out of work indefinitely. So I went on short-term disability, then long-term kicked in, and then the Workers' Compensation Board. Somebody at the office, one of the ladies in her office, actually started a claim on my behalf when she saw the doctor's note. But my journey with WCB here has been outstanding, and with our insurance provider, Canada Life, been outstanding, and the help that I've gotten is top notch. So believe me, so there's one of my attempts at getting help that I don't talk about because it was really damaging. but I think people have to know, like, as you know, it's like everything. You compare it to testing out a mattress at a mattress store. You don't hop into a mattress store, flop on the first mattress, and say, "Yeah, sold. I'm taking that home." Sometimes it's trying on or trying different mattresses or pairs of shoes until you find that right fit. And it's no different with mental health. Nobody's saying that the first fit's going to be the right fit, but
Well, and I
I
think it has
mean,
to be right for you and your personality. Because I
yeah,
mean, you have a wild personality, just like me. That's why I think we're like I said, I started as a brother from another mother here. So and it would make sense though, Chad, that you would need to make sure you had the right person, because if you're not comfortable, you're not going to open up to them, and that was the whole
no,
point, right?
yeah, yeah. It's exactly the whole point. So we I think a lot of us still. I mean, when I think of a psychologist, I'm thinking of that old dude in a room that smells like mothballs, and he's got a big pipe in his hand, and he makes you lay on the couch. And he's pip pip, yeah, and it's nothing like that. I've been lucky enough that everybody great sense of humor. And there's a lot of cries, which is great. My journey has allowed me to go from pure rage and anger to my last big trauma to I'm allowed to be sad and feel for people and cry. And what a great way to cleanse your system is to have a good cry. Instead of tears of anger, it's pure sadness, and it's like a purge. And it's like, man, I am allowed to cry. I know I'm allowed to cry. Why am I not crying? Oh, it's because I'm angry. And but when I stop and process everything, it's like, you know what? I'm gonna have a cry, because what I went to is really sad. There were a lot of people affected by a mass casualty event that I attended. Um, it's okay to cry, but but it's finding the right fit and opening up to those people. And we shouldn't be discouraged when that first thing, that first curveball. I mean, geez, for us um, to stand up and say, you know what, I've been a helper my whole life, but now I've got to ask for help. That is the biggest hurdle to overcome. So anybody out there that's thinking, that I'm not going to ask for help because I'm a big tough superhero in my uniform, and and I'm serious, because I was that guy. I've worn so many different uniforms, and I'm a superhero. Well, wait, dude, take that uniform off. You're a human being, and you're allowed to be a human being. And it's okay to be scared, and it's okay to be afraid to ask for help. But man, once you overcome that hurdle and you find the resources out there, it's an amazing world. It's definitely an eye opener. I didn't know there were so many mental health resources um, right across North America for emergency services and for our military communities. But unfortunately, the hardest part is putting in the work. I mean, nobody likes to do work. That's human nature. I'd rather have $10 million and be in, where's that last guest from, Costa Rica, and living the high life. But man, you've got to put into it what you want to get out of it. And if you want to get better,
Right.
damn it, like, put the work into it.
Now I have that song in my head, live in the high life again.
Oh no. Okay. Thank you
We
for
should
that.
start dancing. We should start dancing now.
We got to come up with a dance to get across the country. The black
Well,
fly dance when I hit Northern Ontario. Black
I'm
flies.
telling you, I can't wait to hit Toronto, because I'm going to go see you in Toronto. It's definitely closer than Ottawa for me.
Okay.
So just a couple more guests here. Alexandra says hi, welcome, and Elizabeth from Chile,
Chile.
Costa Rica. Wow, we got them all in the house tonight,
This is
and
cool.
I just exactly right, and I just want to thank you for sharing those moments because when people see a tough guy like you, and they think oh he's all put together, but it reinforces. Oh, Alexandria says that her husband was an officer and now works in the courtroom. The stories about the guys he worked with, I can just imagine. She's from Ohio, I think. I'm pretty sure. Melanie says, absolutely, you can't run away from yourself. You have to do the work, and no one can do it for you.
That's right.
Absolutely. And, when you said that you gave yourself permission to cry, I remembered, um, believe it or not, I was an emotional stone. I would not let, after a while, just seeing some of the trauma from my past childhood and things like that, and going through some of the things that I went through, I was just like, emotionally closed up and I didn't even realize it.
Okay.
I would refuse to cry in front of anybody. And I thought that was a sign of weakness until, um, you know, life started getting, there were signs, you should get help. And finally, I ended up, I did a lot of therapy over the last 10 years, but then I thought, okay, I was good. But then I knew I was an emotion, my heart was an emotional, like it wasn't thought yet until my dad got cancer. And
Uh,
then I was the first one to take advantage of the social worker at the cancer clinic. And then I met up with some amazing women. Kimberly is one of them who you'll meet shortly here. That says, hey, it's allowed to feel your feelings. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to cry, and so the heart is thawing. Thank God.
yeah.
And it's okay to cry, like you said, whether you're somebody like me or whether you're a big, strong guy like Chad, or it doesn't matter. You're human and you're
Yeah.
allowed to have those things. And that's why we're talking about stuff like this. So, Chad, thank you for being so transparent. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, Chad is walking across Canada, raising awareness for PTSD. And do you still have these coins left
I
or
do
no?
have some of those coins left.
So,
Yes.
if you would like to support Chad in his walk across Canada, see, all you Americans need to buy one of these Canadian flag coins.
Yes, you do.
It says you're not alone. C to C for PTSD. Canada Tour 2022. So, what is your website that they can find all the information?
So my website is www.c2c. It's all letters. C is in the ocean for ptsd.ca. For specialty items like the coins, they can contact me on LinkedIn here, just under my name, Chad Kennedy. Or if you follow us on Facebook, shoot me a message. We'll hook you
So,
up.
in so okay, so two things. Why you're going through your therapy, you're getting better. Why all of a sudden decide, for people that are just tuning in now, why all of a sudden, okay, I'm just doing it. I'm walking across Canada. Why decide to do that?
Well, yeah, one of those decisions that Captain Morgan helped me make. Really, truly, my darkest hour. Contemplating life. Uh, Sick and tired of everybody. I was hurting everybody around me, and then the recent trauma that I had gone through that year, July 18th, sort of added to everything. I'm like, what in the hell? Why aren't people understanding me? Why didn't people understand what my father was going through? Why don't people understand what anybody with post-traumatic stress is going through? Um, it sucks. And then I thought, well, what did Terry Fox do when you know he's got a leg taken by cancer? It was uh, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to raise awareness, and we're going to raise money for cancer research. What did Rick Hansen do in his Man in Motion World Tour, um, wheelchairing around the world? It's like, it's not going to get me down that I can't walk. Um, I'm going to raise money and raise awareness on spinal cord research. Mr. Joe Roberts, Skid Row to CEO. raising awareness for, you know, inner city issues that we see right across the world, right around the world. You know, these are people that conquered amazing things. 3 people that were just guys that said, you know what, we're going to raise awareness. And post-traumatic stress is right up there. It is not just a Calgary thing. It's not just an Alberta thing, Canada thing. I've been in touch with people right around the world, and it is a real thing that everybody's afraid to talk about. You know, we have great support from the Canadian military. A lot of retired, high-ranking members of the all the branches in the states are saying this is real, and we as agencies or as military, we need to start being proactive with mental health versus reactive. And the only time reactive works is when we have the strength within ourselves to ask for help, right? And so the reactive programs, yeah, they're out there, but if we're not asking for the help, it ain't going to happen. And why aren't we asking for help? Because we're afraid of being judged by somebody that we work with, and which just sort of blows me away. And I never understood it, never got it. How everybody says, "Man, all my friends left. I have nobody." And I'm like, shitballs. I just went through that. Like, I've got all these friends, people that I worked beside, people that I would back up on the side of the highway. Man, you had that big courageous saying, I would take a bullet for that guy or that girl. And now I'm going through my healing journey. And where the fuck are my friends? They're gone. They're, I not all of them. There is a great group of individuals that have stuck through me through my healing journey. And yeah, we always have that circle of friends. Well, I can tell you, it's never about the quantity of your circle; it's about the quality. So when you go from that 900 friends status on Facebook, wow, I'm a popular guy and everybody loves me. We socialize together, everything's good. Well, where the hell are you guys?
Mm-hmm.
And we like to think that, okay, well, they've got issues and now they're dealing with their things, but you know, you think true friendship and bonding. That's, oh, there's the cat. One of them.
Well, in
Um,
your line of work too, did you work with okay, so in my mind, police officers have partners. Like, did you work with a partner
we
all the
were
time?
out here. We're single man or single woman vehicles, but we're always within. Well, I shouldn't say always. Um, Most of the time when we're working, we're in close proximity with our group on the highway, which out here in Alberta, for the longest time, and now things are changing, but we were integrated with the RCMP. So you had the Alberta Sheriff Highway Patrol working with the RCMP in projects that we do in the cities with Calgary, Edmonton, Lethbridge. But you're always, there's somebody close or
Mm-hmm.
within. We're going to get to you in a hurry kind of situation.
Right.
Uh, you know, and you think, man, how powerful can a 2-person patrol unit be when you both just encountered something and you've got that relationship
Mm-hmm.
as partners where you can actually puke this stuff up and talk about what you saw instead of having to hold it in.
Right.
You get home, you still hold it in because you don't want to share that crap with your spouse or with your kids or family or your
Mm-hmm.
friends. You just continue holding on to it, and it just turns into you know, you ever put on the spaghetti sauce or you're making something awesome on the stove and you walk away and you come
Mm-hmm.
back 5 minutes later, it's exploded all over the ceiling. Like those bubbles just start bursting and you've got stuff all over the kitchen. Like that's when we bottle all this trauma up and all these, and trauma doesn't have to be that um not necessarily the bad stuff that I've seen on the highway or, you know, going to the bad calls. Sometimes, a lot of times, and I'll throw it out there, and there's going to be a lot of people that say, oh, yeah, you've got systemic bullying in the workplace,
Mm-hmm.
right? The harassment stuff. And it happens. It's not just It's everywhere.
Mhm.
Man, it can happen at McDonald's. It just happens everywhere. We as
Okay.
society just need to learn how to treat each other better.
Be kind. Be
Be
kind to
kind.
each other. That's the
Yes,
whole thing. Love each other and be kind.
that's right.
And Melanie says talking about it helps, but with not only the awareness but healing too. And she said holding it in and embeds it into your body and DNA.
Oh yeah, yeah. I believe that 100%. So
So, oops, sorry.
no, I was just going to say just a little. I'm going to sneak this in.
Okay.
You know what? I'm finding now my whole journey is I, I'm I'm not redefining who I am. I'm refinding who I was before I went through all this stuff. So let's go back 28 years. And who was I? I was that fun guy. I was working, the nightclubs, bars, doing good jobs and just being a happy person. And then you get into this world of business, and then you get into law enforcement. For me, I had my short stint with the Canadian Armed Forces. That's a whole other story. But I'm happy. I am enjoying life, and I'm enjoying every second. From the time I get up in the morning, do a little bit of breathing, do a body scan, uh, have my coffee, play Candy Crush. You know what? I'm so thankful to be on this side of the grass, and I get to see people. I get to go for my walks. And now, yeah, like a couple more sleeps, and I'll be in BC getting ready for the big walk. But I am gonna suck every bit of enjoyment out of life that I can, and it's really my second chance. And I'm grateful. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I have a whole new appreciation for life, but there was a lot of work I had to put into it and a lot of sacrifices,
Yeah.
but worth every frickin' second of it. So yeah, it does get embedded into your DNA. And if you don't get the help, you become that person nobody wants to be around. You become toxic.
Right. So, are you on your team that's going with you? I'm assuming you're going to have somebody for psychologically and someone for um, like a trainer for physical. And what does your team consist of?
So yeah, I've got a few amazing people, a great team that we built up across Canada. So traveling with me for the whole duration is we call her my road boss, my social media guru. She'll be doing a lot of the posting, and so great support with her. She's young, a Wetaskiwin firefighter. Um, she'll be along, and then Rick Chorney, uh, great friend. He has probably worn every hat there is in the emergency service world. And he is my safety guy. And then we've got other team members that will be joining in for portions of the walk across the country. So physically, a lot of it is doing my yoga and my stretching and my walking and hydrating, and young Natasha will make sure I'm eating properly. On the psychological side of things, it's really interesting. So this is something I have to look into now. So I've been accepted by Veterans Affairs, or a claim that I had put in was accepted. So now, never mind what I've gone through provincially, but now I've got Veterans Affairs who have other programs. And so there should be a lot of extra resources across the country should I need help.
Mhm.
There are also people who have been a part of my healing team on the psychological end of things for the last year and a bit that will do check-ins with me. Just the way our system works here in Canada, I don't know how it is in the States. And just stuff that I've learned recently is the minute I walk out of Alberta, people that have treated me can't really treat me because we have borders. I'm like, wow, that's the silliest thing I've ever heard. And as a lot of them say, it's the same thing. Like, we are all educated the same, but the minute you leave Alberta. So I'll say this, my team has been so amazing with, the offers of I can phone in and check in on you, and we can just talk like people, and it will be a place for me to dump. And man, I've got lists of resources right across the country for every province that I can just make a phone call to and say, hey, I just need to dump things out. And I know what I'm going to face on the road is real. I had a taste of it last September walking the highway, and man, the tears I shed, the support from our veterans and first responders, just to run up to you in the middle of nowhere, literally the middle of nowhere. A car pulls up, stops on the side of the highway, people come running back, and they just give you a big hug, and it's like that 20-second like true bonding hug where we're both just shedding tears, and then they just hop in their car and they take off. It's like, who the hell was that? And then you get a Facebook message. Hey, that was me, the crazy whoever I was. I'm like, oh, that was cool. That was the best crazy moment I've ever had. Like, who is this person? But the end of the day, you're so emotionally drained. I don't care about my feet. I don't care my legs, whatever. The pain heals. But that the amount of stuff that you're sucking into your brain is it's rewarding. Yet, like, dude, I need a rum. And I just need to be alone. And you've got to process the day out, and a lot of journaling just to get that onto paper and get it out of my head. And so I think I'm taken care of. And then I know this great lady named Dorothy, and
who will be meeting him in Toronto.
This would be exciting.
Anything you need, buddy, I will make it happen, because I have connections everywhere. So what I can't do if I'm not in that area, I'll reach out to people that I know. And another amazing guy here, Jeffrey Knight from Angels 14. Chad, thank you for sharing with vulnerability and using that to help others. Pain brings impact if we let it. And you are. Besides that piece, the other best part of this has been the word shitballs.
Oh, well, wait until I mix the word with shitballs and applesauce, and people like, wow. It'll come, I'm sure. If not, remind me.
I would love to connect with you at LinkedIn Tuesday Veterans and First Responder Spotlight post. I have one for this week, but would love to feature you after for sure.
Awesome, Melody.
I'll hook you two up. I'll send you a private message later after the show. And after this, I have another appointment, but I'll hook you up after that. Okay. But yes, I just, Chad, and this is why I needed to have you on here, because yes, you're talking about something that can be emotionally crippling, but it's just how you project it. And I am with you on that, because I can go through the most traumatic stuff, but still have a smile on my face. And that's how we get through it, right? We get through these hard moments with that. No problem, Melody. Actually, Melody has hooked me up with a lot of veterans and first responders. So she's definitely a resource to have. And it's been amazing, this journey that you're on. So, okay, so you're out there walking to bring awareness. Are you guys raising money as well?
Yeah. So here's the deal we made. Obviously, our campaign, it costs money. Who would have thought just to walk the country costs money, but there are costs associated to it. Crazy world we live in. So what we'll do, we've got some amazing sponsors that are helping us out financially. And I mean, the public has been really good with making donations. But up to this point, we now basically have our operating budget in the bank, and that with our big sponsors, we're good. And there's always going to be some sort of cost incurred along the way. So 70% of funds raised in each province will remain in that province and benefit mental health programs for emergency services and our military brothers and sisters, which is very important. It's not, we're not going to just do some big national dump on something that's already in play and has money coming in. Mm-hmm. So we'll leave that for the provinces. Could be educational materials. It could be, equine therapy. It could be feeding a horse for a year. Who knows? But we'll do that. So 30% of the funds we'll keep just to allow us to move on. And by the time we have finished the big walk, and we've given that 70% back to each province, whatever's remaining, we will find a national program that caters to all emergency services and veterans, not just veteran based or first responder based. It's got to encompass everybody, and quit the separation. We're all human beings, and we all signed up for something we're not designed to deal with, and we all need help. So let's quit the frickin' divide and just start treating us like humans again. So yeah, that's where your money's going to go.
And where can they donate? Just to your website?
They can go to the website. That has a direct link to GoFundMe. If it's something where somebody does not wish to go through GoFundMe because they take their cut, you know what? Contact me on LinkedIn or social media, and I'm pretty easy. I'll take an e-transfer, and that will go right into the C2C for PTSD bank account. So yeah, every cent helps, and I'll just remind you, the selfish part of this journey is me really finding, the definition of who I am, and really what is my purpose. I think I'm almost there, but by the time I hit St. John's, Newfoundland, maybe a couple of days after recovering, once we get to St. John's, Newfoundland, and I start writing that book, I'm sure it will come to me, what I'm here for and why I decided to do this. And there's everything happens for a reason. That bus crash happened for a reason. It was that straw in the camel's back that pushed me to get help. That thing that inspired C2C for PTSD. And I'm here to talk about it. That's the best part. I know there's going to be a lot of suck walking, but you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to do it in 30 weeks, and we're still going to be here to talk about it. That's right. And hopefully inspire other people to start telling their story and asking for help.
And Lygia here says, thanks for sharing your story and being so genuine. And we're going to have a giant ass party when he reaches Ontario, guys. I just know it, because we're going to show him how Ontarians really do it. But with that, I am going to bring on two amazing people. Cool. Kimberly Genovese and Greg Bignell. Hey. And I know Greg's back there just like, oh yes, I know. He's just one of those. Along with you, brother. Like, you two are two peas in a pod. And so welcome to the show, Kimberly and Greg. I'm gonna let Kimberly, I'm gonna take a back seat, and I'm gonna let Kimberly do her thing.
Okay.
My seat got really hot all of a sudden. Started to sweat.
Just hang on, Chad. It's going to be just fine. You're going to be just fine. First of all, I just want to let everybody know that I'm in Lakeland, Florida. So that right. You just never know where I'm going to be, Chad. So that's part of the fun of the fundamentals, is we never know where I'm going to pop up at. And I'm here with the wonderful Greg Bignell, who we have gotten behind his projects. And Greg, which one would you like to speak on? You get
well, I'll tell you first. I would just like to say, Chad, you said here a minute ago that you look to find your purpose, dude. You've already done it. So the way you brought it tonight really inspired me. I just the way you talk, it's so honest and open, and sometimes you just don't get that. But here's what I don't understand about you, man. If you're going to pick a country to walk across, why don't you pick like Vatican City or Monaco? Like, those are like almost a mile across, dude. You pick Canada. I mean, seriously, dude. Next time, let me help you with your travel arrangements, dude.
So the next walk across the country, I'll let you do the logistics for me. You plan it.
Yeah, I got you, man. Yep. I got your back. Okay. I got your back.
Thanks,
awesome.
Buddy.
Seriously, though, man, it's really awesome to see what you're doing. I mean, it inspires me. Like, I got up to walk across my living room the other day, and all the lights came on the dashboard. And I was like, dude, you start talking about walking across Canada. I'm like, holy crap, maybe I should turn my hat around backwards and get on some sweatpants. I'll be good to go, brother. I'm in.
Amazing. Yes.
Yeah. It's awesome. No, it's been awesome listening to you, man. Sitting back there at back, there's so many times I want to like come running through and give you a high five or a hug or, whatever. But it's kind of weird when you do it on on
It
the
is.
Zoom here, but,
Hey,
but
well,
whatever.
what? We never know what the future has in store for us, brother. There
right.
could be that
Yeah.
day where we get to do that hug.
That's right.
Well,
And so I'm sorry, some of
No.
the things we've been doing, something just kind of materialized today, which I thought was really cool. So I'm here in Lakeland as well. Kimberly's been taking really good care of me and trying to get my brain on paper. I told him it's kind of like putting burnt spaghetti, trying to detangle that, right? So there's
Chad, it was great that you brought up spaghetti.
I thought it was just a Canadian
Yeah,
thing, burning spaghetti.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
now
yeah.
like right across North America, we burn spaghetti.
So one of the things that we're doing, is we have I've been working with this the Falls. It's it's called Family and Leadership Life Skills, and so they just brought me on to do the same thing that I do with Camaraderie Rescue Mission, which was kind of build it, get it to where it's getting more notoriety, where it gets out there and it really helps the veterans, first responders, as well as EMS and really anybody in a uniform. That's really kind of the deal, because folks that are in the uniform, the nurses and some of those sometimes get left out just a little bit.
Yeah.
But man, it's just, we're all one team, like you said earlier. That it's just so amazing. And so I'm working with him because he wants to bring that veteran arm into it. He's working with a lot of underprivileged folks that have been incarcerated, things like that. And he really reached out and said, "Hey man, we need to talk." And it's been such a fun time, especially having Kimberly there to keep us going and really keep us straight, because she's been drawing these circles and things like where stuff's going to be, and I have no idea what she's doing until she's done. And then I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what I thought." It's one of those cool things. And then the other thing that we do in order to to make things work is we have Camaraderie Coffee Club, and what we do is, so events like yours, we sell coffee, and then we actually end up splitting the proceeds on the backside. And so it ends up folks send us their logo, folks say yes, and then we market their coffee, and then when it gets sold, you get the profits, and we try to help folks that are raising money to do that, because that's our way of doing it. Coffee is just a small part of what the business model holds. But I want to tell you, the people that have been commenting on this message, like Jeff Knight and Melody and all those, I'm telling you, man, you've got some rock stars out there in listener land that are just bringing it, and they have meant so much to my life in this last year. And Dorothy, just there's so many to mention. Carrie, Kimberly, just there's so many, brother, and you are surrounded with greatness. And what you brought tonight is absolutely amazing as well. So I do hope we meet, because I want that hug, and I want us just to go ahead, man, and rock it out, because you're doing some cool stuff, and you found your purpose, my brother. You found it.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Hey, Dorothy, as always, the Holy Spirit takes care of the networking on this show, right? Could they be more perfect for each other?
I almost feel that they should be brothers too.
Yeah, I'll take that as a compliment, man. You're probably.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Chad, you're on the losing end of that one, brother. So I think I got a compliment for you. Not so sure, man. Not so sure.
All right, Chad, are you ready? Are you ready to share your 3 fundamentals that you want the world to hear?
Yeah, I wrote them down. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. You know what? There's so many. I wish I could steal somebody else's and just say love, love, and love.
Oh yeah. Way to go.
Why did I overthink this question?
See, now the only people that would understand that are the ones in the other show.
Yeah.
So they'll have to watch the other show to not understand that joke.
Yeah. Thanks for downing me out there, Chad. All that crap I said earlier, it's out the window. I don't want the hug. Rochambeau is in your
Hey, I didn't mention any names. I just said,
Rochambeau is coming your way, man.
Rochambeau.
I got one for you.
All right, Chad, you're up.
Okay. My fundamentals. Love of life, first and foremost. This journey I've been on, I never understood a while back when somebody said enjoy the journey. Everything's been like shit balls and applesauce there. I had to use it. I'm walking the country, so obviously like stress has been through the roof. Trying to plan something like this is not easy, but they were right. Enjoy the journey, and the journey's only like not a fraction of the way there. I've still got to do the walk, and I'm gonna love every moment of it. And like I said, being on this side of the grass is a bonus. Every day I wake up and I can breathe the air and see all the good in life. Secondly, humanity. You know what? We're all human beings. We've got, there is bad stuff going on in the world right now. It's very sad. It's unfortunate. Senseless, really. And I'll just leave it at that, because we all have our opinions. But everything else that's going on, you know what? It's easier to love each other. And I just look over the whole, like the past couple of years, the whole world has been like COVID has done a lot of damage to everybody psychologically. So let's rekindle humanity and love for one another. And the third one is inspiring others. My only hope at the beginning of this campaign, I shared a quote quite a while ago, just don't be afraid to inspire, or don't be afraid to share your story, because your short story may inspire others. So really, by sharing my story and the shit that I've gone through, um, I I just want people to start a conversation about mental health, and don't worry about that small percentage of a-holes that work in your department, your office, or right. I've done it. I have started conversations in the bullpen at work, and it's like one dude walks out of the office. That's such a small percentage, and here's 15 other people engaging in a conversation about mental health. Kind of weird. So we're always worried about that one guy. Well, that one guy is probably going through more serious problems than what I'm going through, and he doesn't know how to deal with it. So forgive. He's not being rude. He just doesn't know how to deal with the shit. So yeah, if at the end of the day I can inspire just one person, if we can prevent through conversation, prevent just one suicide, um, it kills me every day that I hear of another veteran dying by suicide, a first responder, emergency services. I'm trying to get rid of the term emergency or first responders, because we are all just a small piece of a big wheel, the emergency service world. Nurses, doctors, we're all in this together. So yeah, every time I hear of a suicide, it breaks my heart, and I know why it's happening is because of that damn stigma that's associated to mental health in our uniformed worlds. It sucks, and we got to get rid of it. We got to get rid of the systemic bullying and the bullies. Period. Weed them out. Let's make things better for our next generations, and they can only learn from us.
Love it, Chad. That was beautiful. All right, Greg, you're up.
Yeah. So, I listened to that. No, I listened to that. And this
I'm
is
ready.
kind of a serious deal. So, I will tell you that, we do have our struggles every day. And last night I had one of those moments that I'm not proud of, I kind of snapped. I kind of lost it. I kind of did some stuff and said some things that, I'm going to have to pray about. And, with today, as I went through the day, I still kind of had that hangover from, you get that for me, I get super excited or super angry or just super whatever my emotion is, something happens and then I kind of spike. And so I appreciate the fact that folks are willing to step up and talking about their struggles, because when you do that, folks are empowered. And I know it empowered me personally to be able to do it. And then when I see the look on folks' faces that walk up or text me afterwards, or, they may not want to talk in a crowd, but they know that you're there. And that's the biggest thing is when they walk through your door, they have to know that you're there for them. They have to know that maybe that you've been there. And one thing that I just kind of came across the other day was, all the things that I've gone through in the last, 4 or 5 years and my 29 years of service was, a lot of things, what I'm doing today, it wasn't necessarily trials, it was training. Because without the things that happened to me along the road, I wouldn't be prepared for some of the things that I come across now. That's right. And so I didn't see that until just a while ago. And it really kind of changed my perspective. So God's been preparing me to get prepared for the folks, like when I meet people that may not quite know and may not be able to know what it's like to have, that suicidal ideation or to go through some of that stuff. So I would challenge you, look at the things you've gone through and use those, because now you can relate to somebody that you couldn't relate to before.
That's right.
And so, man,
absolutely.
I love you, brother, and I love what you're doing, and just keep knocking it out, man. It's so amazing.
Thanks,
keep doing
brother.
it, keep talking. Absolutely.
Hey, Greg. So I heard that one of your fundamentals would be to change trials into training.
Change what?
Trials into training. That's really good.
Yeah, trials into training.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Oh, am I supposed to give you 3?
You need 2 more.
Oh man, I didn't know it was like that. Oh,
Love.
hang on.
Yeah,
Hang on. So
love.
I'm gonna go with.
Hands.
So I did trials in the training. The other two, I'm just gonna go with love since I took too long with that person. I didn't know it was a quiz. I failed again. So
No,
you did
didn't.
not fail.
You did not.
so
That
I'm
was
gonna tell.
fantastic.
The other fun is just, when you go around about your day, always look for those opportunities to help those that may not otherwise ask for it. Some cool stuff happened to me yesterday. I won't go into it, but long story short, a guy just got out of rehab, was looking for a way to get home, and the bus station wasn't really working with him. So I was able to take his ticket, walk over, and we got him home. So at 9:30 this morning, he headed back down to his house. And when I walked up to him, he had, he was tattooed and stuff. And he said, "Don't my tattoos bother you?" I was like, "No, they don't. They don't bother me, because if you mess with me, I'm going to tattoo you. I'm going to put another tattoo on you, my friend." And so he kind of started laughing, and we broke the ice. But he was as cool as he could be. And then at the very end of it, he asked me to pray with him, which I thought was just an absolute honor. And so the third fundamental is, always be open to new ideas. Not one modality fixes everything. Not one fix fixes everything that you come across. And so if something doesn't work for me, it doesn't mean it's never going to work. If something doesn't work for you, it doesn't mean it's going to work. So just be open to that and listen to people and kind of build on those concerns. And as you go, you just keep enhancing your toolbox. So, that's my 3. I don't know if that last one was a fundamental or not, but that's what I'm calling it. And it's my turn. So that's my 3 and I'm sticking to it. So it's back to you, Kimberly.
That's a win.
Boom.
Touchdown.
Boom. Take it. That's what's happening right there. That's
you
my
took
3.
us home perfectly, Greg, and we knew you would.
Right.
You always do.
Bam.
It's amazing you to use the analogy touchdown. One day we'll have to share Kimberly and my analogy with football. It's by the way, we're looking for professional football players. So Tom Brady, we're coming after you, man. We want you on the show. Ben Roethlisberger, Joe Bangle, even. What's that other one you like?
Oh, my guy's Peyton Manning.
Either one of the Mannings. We'll take either one.
Yeah, either one of the Mannings. We believe that this platform was based. It's funny how we all started this relationship, because it was formed on football and touchdowns, and we won't get into that this time. Maybe next week. Yeah. But
Greg walked right into it. It was perfect.
Yeah,
I guess I'm not even really sure what happened right there, but back at Polk High, I scored 4 touchdowns my senior year. Just so you know.
Ooh.
Should we do the touchdown dance? That was Al Bundy, not Greg Bignell. And then me and Night Train Lane went at it head to head. So sorry. Anyway, old school.
Old school.
That's great.
Forget what I said.
I want to give you guys all a hug, because this was just such a great show.
Well, it's a great. It's always fun.
Yeah. Yes.
Have fun talking mental health.
That's right. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us in the comments, and I want to thank you 2 amazing superstars over here, and my lovely partner Kimberly down on the bottom. It's like the whole Brady Bunch here.
It is.
Chad, do you have any last words to share with our guests before we wrap this up?
You know what? Man, if you have any questions for me, reach out. I'm always around. And after next weekend, I mean, shit's going to be real. I'm going to be walking, but, shoot me a message. If I have a moment while I'm walking, I'll respond. If not, I'll respond that night. But please, people, just, incorporate mental health into a daily routine. Talk mental health. We take care of our bodies by going to our physicians. We take care of our mouth by going to see our dentist twice a year. So let's start scheduling psychological appointments and take care of our brain.
Absolutely. I love that. And if we could all share some love with both of these amazing guys over here, because they both are like, they're amazing. They're off the charts amazing. And in the next, your 30 weeks, if you think of Chad, shoot him a message, even of, hey, I'm thinking of your brother. Way to go. I hear you're kicking ass on the trails. Shit balls out here, balls to the wall, just shoot Chad a message of love and strength, and just saying, hey, I'm praying for your brother, or I'm out here. Where are you at now? Would love to meet up with you.
Cool, Dorothy, is whenever somebody's walking, they can say, hey, Chad, I'm walking with you right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that.
I walk every day, brother. So I will put a reminder to shoot you a text every day.
Yeah, when you're walking, you can be texting him.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
No, that's dangerous. Don't do that.
No,
Don't
don't
do
text
that.
them off.
Don't do
Ever.
that. Barry,
Ever.
no, don't. Do it. Not unless you got a team around you. And you got some handlers. Don't do
Yeah.
it, man.
That's right.
Don't do it. They're
I-
trying
I
to get you in
did-
trouble.
I did hear there was a petition going around. If I get 1,000 signatures, Dorothy will bake me 100 cookies and deliver them to me on the highway somewhere.
I heard that one too.
I love it. That's a
Oh, I
great
tell you
idea.
what,
If it
Yeah.
didn't
I signed it.
exist, it does now.
I signed it
1,000
twice already.
signatures.
what's your
I signed
favorite
it twice already,
cookie?
and there's 3 mail-in ballots coming your way.
Oh, right on. Right.
Double hanging. We're good.
You know what? When it comes to cookies, anything, I will eat anything. Just don't, like, if it's got cilantro, I'll die. I don't know
Okay.
if there's a cilantro allergy, but I tell people, like,
Put
deathly
cilantro
ill
in
to
cookies.
cilantro.
Yeah, who makes cilantro cookies? That doesn't sound good at all. And I like
No, but you know,
It kind of
some,
sounds like a pot recipe. But
some people are like, well, that's a
Yeah,
great
that green-
garnish.
that green stuff was not cilantro, my friend. It's not cilantro. Just
Hey.
to point that out.
Well, hey, if I
I'm
got a
just telling
smile
you.
on my face afterwards, I'd never question.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I like it.
Brother,
Anyhow.
I've never heard of cilantro and cookies, but I'll make you some cookies when I
I don't
come.
know what I don't
think
know
there's
how
some
stuff
good ones
rolls
out
in
there.
Toronto. It's Toronto. There's like trendy stuff going on out there. Not cilantro and
Awesome.
cookies. Okay.
We'll leave that one alone. And I just want to say, because for sake of time, we're out of time, and I wish we could go another whole hour. I know we could. But with that, everybody have an amazing evening. We'll see you next week, and don't forget to be unstoppable.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Bye, Chad. Later.
Cheers.